Hello, everybody. Welcome. Music Scene Investigation is on the air. My name's Rich Wildman, and I'm going to take the echo out for all our panelists. I'm sure they don't like hearing me any more than they have to. That's true. I know it's true. They've told me that many times before. And before we get into things today, just want to remind you, if you missed it last Wednesday, we have a new Band of the Month. I'm pleased to announce that. And guess who it was? Yeah, Kangaroo Knife Fight walks away with it. Their track, It's You, is the big winner this month on the hit list. If you missed the hit list, you want to check it out every second Wednesday of the month. That's where we gather all of our Song of the Week selectees from the previous month, pit them against each other to find out who is going to be our Band of the Month. They then go on to become our Potential Artist of the Year. So it's very exciting stuff when you really get down to it. Lots of prizes and PR packages and all that stuff to go around, but you got to go through the panel on the Sunday show to get there. Without that, you're just another, brick in the wall? Is that what I'm looking for, Ian?
Just another piece of cheese on a breadboard.
Something like that. I don't I don't know. Well, Andrea, you got anything to add to that with another brick in the wall, piece of cheese on a breadboard? What do you got?
They're not exactly close to me. These two. How do these two things connect? That's my question.
I have no idea. I really don't know.
You're missing the point that a piece of cheese has no place on a breadboard.
Yeah, unless you're eating cheese with bread.
It should be on the cheese board. But do you not know your etiquette at all?
No, I'm from the Midwest here in the U.S. We suck milk right out of a cow. I mean, we have no etiquette.
What can I say? I must say, though, it was a tough month this month on the hit list.
Indeed, it was. It was really tough. There were a lot of good songs that went around on the hit list.
4 very good songs, each in their own way, and it was a tough decision.
Well, I'm glad a decision was able to be made. And speaking of decisions that were made last week during the broadcast, Spider was with us. All the guys from the original Spider were sitting down in Ian's location. And we had a great time with those guys, and they made a tough decision along with the rest of our panelists on who our Song of the Week selectee was going to be out of the 3, including Dennis James, Logan Strikes, and Sikabod. Ian, how did the witness statements turn out for that one?
Well, they certainly didn't disagree with us. But they didn't agree with us either, because no one actually voted this week.
Really?
No one voted. I think everyone was just shocked and stunned by the humour, the wit, and the cutting sarcasm from Spider. That they forgot to vote. You know.
Well, I know that that a lot of people tuned in to check out Spider, and have watched and listened to things and the recordings of the broadcast. So, a very popular show. The guys were great, as you said. So it was pretty awesome.
They were under the influence of tea again, weren't they?
They actually drank coffee.
Some had coffee, some had coffee, and some even had alcohol. There was cider and beer going around. And afterwards, we had a bit of an after show where they had a bit of a jam and talked about their set lists and possible gigs that they're trying to set up to do. So I can't say anything because there's nothing, guaranteed. But there was a lot of positive talk. Let's put it that way. We had a good laugh. We had a good laugh.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to their decision, whatever it may be. Of course, we'll back them up 100% and fight for them in parking lots across the world. But it better be something I enjoy. I'm just kidding. Of course, we support them no matter what they decide to do. A bunch of great guys. So, all right, Ian, things going all right where you're at in the world today? No flooding, no animals escaping from the zoo?
No, we've had no tigers swimming down the high street or anything like that, which is a good thing. A few monkeys, but that's normal. But, it's hot like really sticky, hot, and muggy, but cloudy and dark and dank at the same time. And we need that storm. We need that big electrical storm to clear the atmosphere, but it's not coming.
I'll send one over your way.
Please do. Yes, send one my way. I do love a good thunderstorm. So,
yeah, we've had quite a few of them here over the past number of days, so I'll do my best to send something over your way. Andrea, of course, is in Las Vegas, Nevada, the high desert, as we like to call it here in the Midwest, because we have no clue what a desert is. Hey, Andrea, what's going on with you?
It's getting hot in Vegas.
It's getting hot in here.
Getting hot.
Yeah, well, you know what they say.
This was our first week with higher temperatures. We got up to 100, and it's early for that. So
now, do you see? I'm going to bug you about this, and I bug Ian about it as well. So I'm going to. Do you attribute that to Al Gore's famous equation for global warming?
We talked about this already. I have no idea. I mean, yeah, I don't think it's a good thing that the ice caps are melting, and of
course, polar bears are now eating dolphin. So polar bears have a new item on the menu.
Are they? Yeah. Well, they got to eat something. It's, yeah, it's a little crazy. They said this year is supposed to be a really bad El Nino year, which is never a good sign either. So there's that. But the best thing about Vegas in the summer is obviously not the heat. It's the fact that it's summer festival season here. And that means pretty much anybody who's a musician is passing through Vegas. So lots of really great concerts to go see. And so I'm actually looking forward to that. I think this summer I will venture out and do a little more listening than I usually do.
Well, I certainly wish you the best of luck, obviously. I would love to be out there in Vegas myself, but 100 degrees, we've got 90s here, and it's bad enough with 80, 90% humidity. I don't know if I could handle the hundreds.
Yeah, it gets pretty hot. And in last summer, we had 3 weeks of 115.
Frying eggs on the sidewalk.
Which is kind of brutal. And we know that's probably coming again this year. So, I can honestly say it keeps getting hotter here. It wasn't that hot the year that I moved here. It does keep getting hotter. It's rough. The biggest event in June, which I think is so odd, I guess that maybe they plan it thinking June won't be so bad, but it's the Electric Daisy Carnival. It's happening at the end of the month. And so if you're really, really into getting high while getting heat stroke, that's the perfect event to go to.
You wouldn't know you had heat stroke.
Probably, I guess you could have, you could be high or have heat stroke and have the same experience.
Either way, it's all good. Al's always love having you here with us, Andrea. And our special guest panelist this week is a guitarist, and what an awesome guitarist he is, too. The man has played with more bands than I can shake a stick at. I've got his bio here in front of me. And if I were to count the number of bands that this guy has either formed, played with, I would have to use two hands. There's no doubt about it. There is no way around it. Mr. Leigh Heggarty joins us again. Hey, Leigh, how the heck are you, sir?
Hello. I'm all right, thank you. And hello, everybody. And how are you all doing?
Doing very well. Now, it's great to have you back with us. It's been a couple of months since you've been here with us.
Yes. And I'd like to start by congratulating Ian on possibly the most middle-class put-down I've ever heard. I didn't think I'd ever hear somebody say, because cheese doesn't belong on the breadboard. And just the sound of someone looking down the longest nose ever kind of thing at that point. Fantastic, Ian. It's magnificent. A working-class hero is something to be. You clearly are not really one of them. Well done. We actually love each other, but it's always nice to get one in before he'll start the bald and gags later on, I'm sure.
It's the simple rules of etiquette, man. Come on, even a working class boy like me can be brought up with a bit of class.
But working class boy like me can't spell the word etiquette properly. Actually, I can, because the Damned did an album called Machine Gun Etiquette. I think that's probably the nearest. Anyway, welcome back, everybody, to my world.
Well, I got to say, it's great to have you back with us. I honestly got to admit, being a Midwest boy, I just thought it was an English thing. I didn't really look at it as a put down. So, I mean, Ian, says that kind of stuff to me all the time, and I guess I just don't notice it.
Oh,
I need to have you around me so you can let me know when I should be upset and stuff.
This could be a career move for me, you think? Correcting and making observations on things such as this.
I'm thinking you could make some good money doing stuff like that, helping people out to know whether or not they've been snubbed by someone.
That's nice of you to say that. But what would I do with money? I've got this far without any, so I think.
All right, you could. How about jelly beans? You interested in jelly beans?
Hey, that's different. I didn't think so. Yeah, you're good. I didn't think of that.
I'm just, I get paid to sit in front of a microphone and think things up all the time. So
basically, he's just looking for a translator.
But we really needed somebody to make sure we're not getting different meanings off of the jokes. We had that one show where the Brits got something completely different from the jokes than the Americans did.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we want to go back into that.
It's our cynicism and our depression. Maybe that's right.
Slight depression was the word I used. We're not that bad, do you know what I mean?
I don't think I'd like to think that we won't have too much of either.
Well, I want to find out what has been going on with you since you were last on the broadcast. Now, during the pre-show, we talked a little bit about some of the things that you've been up to, some of the things you've got coming up. And first thing I want to talk about is a little travel in your future. I've been reading poems lately, and on my poem it says, Leigh, a little travel coming up in his future.
Yes, quite a lot.
So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, it'd be a pleasure. RUTS DC are about to. We've been fairly quiet for the first part of the year. We've been doing some shows, but we've been writing some new songs with a view to a new album next year. But there's also been quite a lot of work gone into a book that's just come out on the band, which I'll tell you about in a moment, and a new single that we've done. But from September, we've got a batch of shows in Europe. We're playing in Germany, Poland, Czech Republic, doing a show in Switzerland, and we finish up in Italy, I think it is.
Wow.
Yes, we finish in Milan. And then the night after that, we play in Manchester with Hawkwind. I can't wait for that. It's going to be fantastic.
Fantastic, yeah.
Then we've got a series of shows throughout Britain in October, about 15 or 16 shows. We would have done more, but we haven't got time to do them because the next month we're going to go to Australia and New Zealand. And I've never been to either countries before, so I'm very excited about this. The band never went there back in the day. We've just announced the shows this week. So that's a great time in prospect there.
Is your passport up to date? I mean, with all this traveling, you might have to get some extra pages put in.
No, most of the places I go to, you don't get stamps on these days, do you? It's sort of, or I don't. Perhaps everyone else does.
Well,
but yeah.
All right, so tell us a little bit about this book. Then you mentioned it. I'm interested. Okay. I'm a rabid reader. So.
Right. Okay. Well, Love in Vain: The Story of the Ruts and RUTS DC, written by a gentleman called Roland Link, who has written a couple of very good books on Stiff Little Fingers, the Belfast punk band. And is a writer generally, very good writer. He's spent several years researching and writing a book. The main part of which is obviously on the earlier days of the band in the late 70s. There's a lot on the band members before they were in the Ruts, which is quite the way they kind of almost their lives kind of intertwine, and there's an odd sort of fate bringing them all together, which is quite interesting to read. Then there was the kind of blitzkrieg of 18 months of success and Top of the Pops and playing big shows and things. Malcolm, the singer, sadly dying, and then the band going on to be RUTS DC for another couple of years before disbanding. And the detail in it is remarkable. It's been edited by Paul Trinker, who edited Mojo magazine, and again is a very fine writer. He's written books on David Bowie, I think, Iggy Pop. Great writer. and we did an evening in North London last month for people. We did the book through. I think you call it crowdfunding, don't you? I think is that what they call it, where people kind of pre-buy it. So we did an evening in a little pub in North London for the people that pre-bought the book. We did a question and answer session with Roland, Paul Trinker, and then myself, Dave Ruffy, and Segs from the band, where we sat at the mercy of the braying hounds that were our audience, asking questions like, Leigh, you're stepping in some very big shoes. How does it feel?
Well, the answer?
Well, I've said, I've got very big feet. That was about my main contribution, actually. But that was kind of cool. We did an acoustic show, which the band has rarely done, and we did an electric show as well. And you know, I never thought somebody would ever ask me to sign a book. It was quite a remarkable moment. You know, whether it's lack of self-esteem or whatever it is, I don't know, but that was quite extraordinary.
Now let me ask you the question: did you commemorate the signing of the book, the signing of your first book, with a selfie, perhaps?
No.
No. What happened there, Leigh?
I don't really do selfies.
Now,
I could go further, but they'd close me down. People took photographs, but I didn't take it. I wouldn't do anything as self-indulgent as that. I'm being self-indulgent at other things, which are much more self-indulgent than selfies.
Like bread and cheese, you know.
Well, I'm just thinking perhaps at this point it's a good time to mention my new range of bread and cheese boards that I'm thinking of bringing out later in the year. You know, crime is all about motive and opportunity, viewers, and I think I might have just seen one for this. I don't know.
Now I've been
a middle class win, man.
You're in the advert for it. It's going to be great.
Now
things are moving quickly here, aren't they? I'm really going to have to get on this.
Yes, you know, I'm thinking IKEA is a good marketing place for your bread and cheese boards. By the way,
well, you know, I may bring you in on that side of it.
Well, you know,
I've already got my lawyer drawing up a contract for the adverts, so we're good.
There you go.
You know, nothing surprises me anymore.
All right. Now, somebody out in the chat room, just a little bit of housekeeping here, because obviously it needs to be done. Somebody had mentioned that they were hearing a small echo. I think I got rid of that. So if you continue hearing that echo, let me know in the chat room, and I will see if what I did made a difference or not. But I don't hear it anymore in my headphones, so hopefully you don't hear it anymore either. If you do, just let me know, and we'll take extra steps to try and figure it out. All right, before we get to things, one more question for Leigh.
Okay.
I've got it written down here. Let me see. Book, okay. Australia, New Zealand tour, okay. British, okay. New album. What did, tell me, did we talk about this already?
What's this all about? Well, we're starting to get enough songs together, or certainly the bare bones to think about a new collection. It'll be for next year now. We've just put out a 7-inch single, a re-recording of Jar War, the old Ruts track, which kind of came out. It kind of came about a little bit by accident, and some of the best things do, don't they? As part of the book and part of the general talk around the band at the time, we thought we'd redo one of the older songs. The subject matter of the song, it's a song about a riot in Southall in 1979 on St George's Day, when Southall in West London's got a very high Asian community, and some members of various right-wing factions in the country came down to start trouble there, and there was an infamous riot there, and there was a lot of trouble in that area at the time. The Ruts, a couple of them lived in that area, and they wrote a song about it, and it was kind of the anniversary of that, so we thought we'd put something together for that. So that's been the first kind of new recording for a while from the band to be issued. And that's an actual 7-inch single, final. which is nice to have. So the next thing we're going to do, we've got, as I say, we're starting to put new songs into the set now, sort of road test them a little bit, and then hopefully next year we've got another batch of dates penciled in for the start of next year, and then we're going to sort of springtime. Hopefully, we're going to record a new collection. There's been talk of trying to record it at Abbey Road slightly madly because Dave did some recording there, and I was lucky enough to go down and actually spend a bit of time in Studio 2, which is a Beatles fanatic, was a really quite surprisingly emotional half hour or so sitting there. It was terrific. We'd love to do that, but I think that may or may not happen. But, but the plans are being planned.
I certainly wish you the best on that. I hope you guys do record at Abbey Road. I think that would be a ball, a lot of fun to do. I think you guys would enjoy it. Just do me a favor. No pictures in the crosswalk, please.
Won't be any selfies ever, I can assure you.
And if you do take pictures in the crosswalk, make sure you're wearing shoes and somebody else is in bare feet.
That's the thing, isn't it? Well, Segsy, he's bass player. He'll have to take his shoes off.
Yeah, there you go.
I've got to grow an implausible beard.
Just use cotton balls and Elmer's glue.
It's fairly unlikely in my case. We're very unlikely to record the whole thing there because we can't afford it, but we might try and do some backing tracks there and then take it away and do vocals.
That would be fun. That would be fun.
It would be just a dream.
Oh, yeah, I know. I think you have a great time doing it. And I certainly hope that we all have a great time today listening to some new music, because we do have some new music to listen to today. I've got 3 new tracks, and they're ready to go. If you guys are ready to go, I think we could give the first one at least a listen to and find out what you guys think about it. So here it is, everybody. This is track number 1 on today's Music Scene Investigation. Enjoy it, everyone. We'll be right back with the panel after this. Track number 1 on today's MSI. right, there you have it. That is track number 1 on today's MSI, and we're going to head over to our panel, find out what they think about it, starting out with Ian. Ian, track number 1, over to you, my friend.
Okay, yeah, well, quite a good start. You kind of got that EDM thing going on with a bit of industrial slung in there as well, which I thought was nice. You know, you got sort of traces of sort of that dance room sound, but elements of that sort of Trent Reznor sort of sound in there as well. Drums sounded absolutely amazing. Really, really good production. A real nice bass in there with a lot of sub going on, and that sort of snare sound I really liked as well. Did feel the drums were a little bit static from the point of view they didn't go anywhere. You know, I'd like to hear a few more feels, a few more stutters to go with some of them builds on the synths and stuff like that. The whole sort of sonic soundscape really was good. Good use. Nice reverbs going off, nice effects going off. Wasn't overdone. Kept it minimal. Liked the girl's voice. Liked what they were doing with the voice, but I didn't like the vocal treatment. I felt her voice could be a little bit more present, a little less whispery, and tighten those vocals up. They seem to be fighting and pulling against each other, the ones that are panned left and right. Hook could have been stronger, and I would like to hear something a bit more melodic. There was some synths that sort of came in about halfway through, which sort of started to build out a little bit towards the end. But I don't know, I would like to hear some sort of melodic hook or something like that. I like the bass, that sort of grinding sort of synth bass was really, really cool. Lots of good stuff going on here. I just think development of a hook, and to make it a little bit more catchy, I think you've got the start of a really great track. The production's slick, the mix is good. Just tighten up those vocals and get something a bit more melodic in there to sort of grab the ear a little bit more.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, Ian. Thank you. Over to Andrea Bensmiller. Andrea, your thoughts on track number 1?
Yeah, I agree with Ian. It's rave perfect. It's you know, it's got all of the great things that a dance track has. It's got some great sounds. It's a good mix. I like the spoken vocal thing a lot. I thought that it was well sectioned out. There are lots of times where something new and different was coming in, changing the vibe just a little bit. But I felt like it could have had more build for sure. Especially because that vocal is so static. And like Ian said, there isn't a melodic hook. It's a really great lyric hook. I like the way you speak to me, look at me, video and sound. It's a really good hook. It just didn't have anything melodic to catch to. So it kind of felt like, well, this is a little bit, you know, kind of going nowhere. And it's a short piece. So it, you know, you kind of want to have something to grab onto. You know, I liked it a lot. I don't really hang out in the EDM scene, but I think it's very similar to some of the stuff that I hear happening out there. But it needs to build a little bit, even in the dance scene, even in the club scene. You're going to want a track to really, at some point, explode and have a really big delivery on the, you know, a climax. So I would say that needs to happen. But yeah, really good track. I liked it a lot.
All right, very cool. Thank you, Andrea. Now over to Mr. Leigh Heggarty. His thoughts. Leigh, what do you think about this track?
Yes, well, I must say, firstly, I too am not over familiar with this style or genre or whatever word one uses. So I'm coming at it quite cold. Funny, I mentioned Hawkwind earlier, and I've written the first word I wrote down was Hawkwind. That probably shows me to be very old, but I loved that kind of swirly start. And I suppose when you listen to something on headphones, you always you sort of hear all the panning quite well. But then a couple of really nice of those kind of old bubbly synth sounds, which I really picked up on, which I liked. The vocals, again, the headphone thing, it's mixed with that kind of hard panning left and right here and there, and some different things happening, and the whisper and the voice going along at the same time. I felt that was great. However, by the end, it kind of got to me a bit, and maybe this is to echo my colleagues here. You know, there wasn't so much sufficient change during the track, perhaps. Although, as I say, personally, I really liked that sound. I like the sound of the track generally. Maybe it did need to do something a bit different with the way the voices were working. Yes, the hook line. I've written some. I wrote a couple of bits on that. Waiting on the audio, sound and video. It's all really, one could argue written on a piece of paper. They're quite simple words, but the way they worked in the track, I really liked. Maybe it did need to build up a bit more, or something change. I mean, I love the bit in the middle where it all kind of turned inside out. There was a sort of swirly bit in the mix, which was great. Maybe good that only came in once, but it needed something else like that to happen. Maybe even the equivalent of what you would do with a key change, if you like, the kind of thing where it shifts gear a bit or something. So as I say, good stuff. Yes, I wrote the word industrial down as well. There was a bit of Trent Reznor for me in there, which is no bad thing. I enjoyed the track without having a great deal to directly compare it to. I thought it was a good, well-made piece.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much to all three of you. Track number 1, it's called Sound and Video. It's by Explendidos, and we appreciate their sending that track in to Music Scene Investigation. Now, as everybody knows, if you've been a longtime fan of Music Scene Investigation, our panel has no idea what songs they're going to be hearing up until the point they hear them. They don't know the name of the song. They don't know the name of the artist or anything about the music until they hear it live along with everybody else. So you just never know what you're going to hear from the panel or in the way of music here on MSI. All right, I've got 2 more songs to take a listen to, guys and gal. So let's do that right now. Here it is, everybody. This is track number 2 on today's Music Scene Investigation. Certainly hope you enjoy it as well. Track number 2.
taking me down.
There you have track number 2 on today's Music Scene Investigation. We're going to start this round out with Andrea. Find out what she thinks first. Andrea, your thoughts on track number 2.
Okay, well, let's see. Wow, this was such a, I mean, I'm not going to say it's something I really liked, but it's interesting because it's got this kind of mashup of a reggae feel in the beginning with this very like heavily 70s influenced drum sounds kind of going along with it, and then it bursts into this kind of metal screamo thing in the chorus, and towards the end it even gets even further on that side. So I mean it's an interesting idea. There's for the two sides of this, let's take it apart in terms of the song and then the production. In terms of the production, this sounds like it's kind of one of those not so amazing live recordings of the band. It's fairly tightly played, although you can always get tighter if you're doing a live recording. But it's very much one of those mixes where every single instrument is separated in space. They never really come together. The drums are way too loud. The guitars are hard panned, and they're very different sounds, and that might seem to work, but at some point they need to join the mix together. The bass is almost kind of non-existent, and the vocals vary between being really present and understandable to very distant and not understandable at all. And one of those places where they're not understandable at all is over the chorus. So there's some issues with the mix in general. And that's partly because of, I think, the way they chose to arrange this piece too. It's a little bit schizophrenic in terms of style. It's a little bit kind of a mashup of lots of different things. And because of that, if you're going to do that, I think you have to produce it in a way that's really masterful. Because otherwise it comes off as being you're schizophrenic and you just got your band together and somebody said, well, hey, let's make it reggae here and then let's go into screamo here. And it didn't really join to me in terms of being like an arrangement in a song that makes a lot of sense or sounded like you could look at it and go, well, that's a cool idea, because those just pretty much blended. The problem is they didn't really blend. It sounded like separate sections. So yeah, that's the production part. The song part, I didn't feel like the melody on the chorus was particularly strong. Not being able to understand the hook lyrics didn't help, but I also didn't feel like that stood out as being a great chorus. It kind of sounded like it wasn't a chorus, like it didn't have a simple idea, it didn't repeat in a simple way, it just didn't have something you could really connect to.
So in that way, it kind of lended to that schizophrenic feeling. Like this is just another section. And then there's the parts where he went from singing to screamo, which was I'm not going to say don't do it. I'm not going to say it's not a great idea. It could be. It was just so extreme to go from this one sound to this very, very hard, metal screamo sound that it felt like two different sections, two different songs, two different ideas. And for that reason, it was really hard for me to connect to. I don't know, interesting. This sounds like it's maybe a band that's played together for a while and they are working on their stuff. And in that case, keep working on it. There's, great stuff comes from mixing a bunch of different ideas together and doing things that nobody's ever done before. But just maybe try to really think about how to do it a little bit more subtly, because it wasn't subtle and things sounded like giant breaks away from what you're doing. And for me, that didn't work too well.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, Andrea. Thank you. Over to Leigh Heggarty now and his thoughts. Leigh?
Okay. Well, second song, and again, to take a point Andrea made there, some very odd stereo moments in this. The intro with the very fast panning backwards and forwards would have been a bit gimmicky if it hadn't been as short as it was, but I kind of quite liked it. And I like the idea that a similar idea appeared at the end. Whether it was a good idea is another matter, but it was certainly something that was quite arresting to start things off. Guitar-wise, yes, bit of a reggae feel, bit of picking going on, and then that kind of suddenly panned across to one side, and another guitar came in the other side of the mix as the vocals got nastier. It's always a hard one, this kind of hard panning stuff. I think as Andrea said, there's a tendency for it to all sound a bit like, well, I'm putting my bit in now. They don't seem to be kind of joined to each other very well. Not that they were particularly not well played or whatever, they're fine. But so that sort of contributed to a slightly odd effect overall. Yes, the vocals for me were a bit low. I'm not sure that it wasn't more EQ than low during the verses, but it kind of got lost, and it was a shame. Music-wise, it's kind of the same sequence all the way through, with a few little sneaks here and there, but that's okay. But I felt, again, there should have been something where it changed just to lift the track a bit, or indeed to take the track down. There's nothing wrong with that. So keeping the same sequence, or more or less the same hard thing to do for the length of time this track went for. Solo was kind of crazy, the sort of mad flanging on it, and that was good. I think it's flanging. I never quite tell flanging and phasing, all the rest of it apart. Long since distanced myself from that one. And when it doubled up at the end, a nice moment. I thought it was going to finish. It started up again. Again, whether it made an already quite long track a bit too long is open to debate. Depends on what you thought, whether you like the track or not, I suppose. So an interesting recording. Didn't sort of sound finished to me, though. Sounds like it's a really good idea that needs to be kind of tightened up a bit and be quite hard on it. That bit could come out, or this could be shorter, or whatever. But some interesting things going on. Good track.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, Leigh. Thank you. Now we go over to the man in black, Mr. Ian Husbands. Ian, track number 2.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I can echo a lot of what the guys have been saying. Guys and gals. Sorry, Andrea. There's a lot. Andrea delivered a brilliant review there with a lot of what I'm thinking. I think there's a fantastic song here. I don't mind the fact that you're going from that sort of, I thought it was going to be like Hotel California when it started up. And then it went into that sort of more reggae feel, and then it went into that sort of more sort of heavy screamo feel, and there's a lot going on. But I don't mind that. But as Andrea said, it's the lack of production that's not tying these parts together properly. This to me sounds like a live band in the studio, and it sounds like I'm sat on the drummer's lap because the drummers were so up front. Don't get me wrong, there's some really good performances going on here, and I found the performances got better as the song progressed. That sort of reggae, sort of country-ish feel that it started with didn't feel like the band were comfortable, didn't feel like they were playing to their full ability, but as they progressed, the song just got better and better, and the heavier it got, the more comfortable the band felt. So there's some great performances going on here. With that chorus, I felt that was too high for that singer. It sounded like he was struggling to push those notes. And, you know, change it, bring it down, change the melody, do something different. Because, yes, the vocals were not present. I would like to hear more up front. And, you know, getting back onto the levels of production, I want to hear backing vocals going on. You know, go and look at bands like Incubus and Linkin Park, you know, things like that. That sort of, there's got that new metal feel that's going on. Where they've got this different stuff going on. And, you know, take some production ideas from there. I think there's a really strong track. I think stick with those changes, stick with those influences and keep those parts, but make them transition better. You know, you've got a good band here, but you've got to make the rest of it work. And, you know, a live recording where you're sat on the drummer's lap for the most of it doesn't convey what you're trying to do properly. Yeah, get a producer.
All right, makes perfect sense. Thank you, Ian. Name of track number 2. It's called Shot. Shopping Cart is the subtitle on this one, by the way. It's from a band called Napalm Party. We appreciate Napalm Party sending that track in to Music Scene Investigation as well. Now, I have one more song to go through on today's broadcast. We're going to get right to it. This is, everyone, song number 3 on today's Music Scene Investigation. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Here is song number 3.
You know you got it. It's in your mind. Don't you worry, you won't lose it. Never let them drag you down. Don't you ever.
Sometimes I feel I'm alone in this universe. Keep going, not stopping. I'm flowing. I don't know why, but that's the way it is. Keep moving, improving. I live the life I'm choosing. Sometimes it feels like you're trying so much harder. And stepping your lesson is sometimes so much farther. So take another look. Don't waste another minute. This is my storybook. You are the star in it.
You know you got it. It's in your mind. Don't you worry, you won't lose it. Never let them drag you down. Don't you ever.
Take a hold of the things you know. This is my road. I'm in my zone. Don't tell me no. I feel all the waves roll and can't stay. Yeah. What a shot one day before me. You know you got it. It's right there in your pocket. You're moving to the top and nothing's ever gonna stop it. Your life is just a dream. The perfect movie scene when the angels sing.
You know you got it. And it's your time, so just hold on, you can do it. Just wait, it'll come around. Don't let them drag you.
Don't let them drag you. You gotta get through. Everything you're thinking isn't always true. All the things I love, it all comes back round if you just let go. Just keep your head up, look around. Don't stop and try to drag it down. Don't pay attention, crazy ones see.
You know you got it. It's in your mind. Don't you worry, you won't lose it. Never let them drag you down. Don't you ever. You know you got it. It's in your mind. Don't you worry, you won't lose it. Never let them drag you down. Never cut down. Don't you ever.
That is track number 3 on today's MSI. let's go over to our panel and find out what their thoughts are. We're going to start this round out with Leigh. Leigh, track number 3 over to you, my friend. What do you think?
Well, three very different sounding tracks tonight. First thing I wrote down was big sound, as it all came in with that, and I kind of like that. I loved the start of the track. Great vocals from the girl on the song. When it changed and the other voices started interlocking, I thought they put them together well. Guitars were good. I could pick them out a bit, and there was a lot going on. There were a lot of big sounds, and that's quite interesting on these sorts of things. It's almost that kind of throwback to the '80s productions where snare drums were 10 feet tall instead of, what's a snare drum, 6 or 7 inches or something. You know, it was so it kind of had that feel about it, which I quite liked. The middle section was good, but it went to the sort of almost funky bit. I liked that. I've written the words key change, underlined it. I don't underline things very often. Something else should have come in a bit for me. That was the only thing. Maybe that last bit after the sort of middle section where it changed, that you know you got it. When that came in, perhaps that should have all gone up a bit for me, or something should have changed in the track. That was the only thing that really didn't happen for me. There wasn't enough change going on. But right at the end, the sequence was altered a little bit. That was kind of cool. But yeah, quite a track. Wow, there you go.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, Leigh. Thank you. And going over to Ian right now, finding out what he thinks. Ian?
That was so hot. And I don't mean hot as in great. I mean hot as in overcompressed. And that is my biggest thing with this track. Yeah, it's a big sound, but it's loud and there's no space and everything's competing for its place in that mix. The vocals are pushed back. Don't get me wrong. Once you listen past that wall of sound, which is what it is at the moment, there's a lot of good things going on. The girl's got a good voice. I think the male vocal and the chorus, the verses are decent. I don't like the vocal treatments. I think part of the problem is that they've used some delays and some reverbs and some phasing and stuff like that in places, which once the over compressions come in on the whole track, it's just really, really made them sort of it's compressed the effects as well, basically, and really hammered them on. Everything needs to be backed off. This needs to be remastered at best, if not remixed and done again. Because there is a good song sitting here. There's a good Disney-style pop song sitting here. But in the current state, I mean, if we were to broadcast this on our radio station, it's going to go through another state of compression as we stream it. And it's just going to get crushed and crushed and crushed and crushed, and it's going to be unlistenable eventually as it goes down through the internet. And, it's a shame because I think there's some good writing here. I think there's some good talent here. There's some good production going on here. But the way it is, it's just a wall of sound.
All right, Ian, thank you. By the way, we did broadcast it through the radio station where everybody's listening to it right now, so I'm sure they understand what you're saying. All right, over to Andrea now. Andrea, your thoughts on this track?
Yeah, I'm going to echo a lot of what the guy said. Really good song, a really good song. Good production, nice sounds, well produced, very timely in the pop genre right now, like the girl guy thing, like the pop rap thing, like the uplifting, very inspiring hook. Never let it drag you down. Really, really like all of it. Crushed to bits, this flippin' recording. Crushed. Just not only too hot, but literally compressed all the life out of it. I feel like we have this review come up a lot. Like everybody's jumped on the compression bandwagon without understanding really what it is. So please, if you're a mixer or you're a master or you're even doing your own home recordings, and even if they sound great to your ears and in your studio, please go and read about dithering and digital truncation and the effects of multiplying not only digital effects, but then compressing the crap out of them on the back end. Because what you get is really what we heard. There were sections of the song, notably the bridge, that were so distorted they were hard to listen to. So high end. I turned
as in my ears as high as I could stand it, to try to hear some of the depth in the track. And it was tough. It was tough. There were moments where it was like, this is really actually a little bit painful. There was distortion, the female lead vocal, great voice, but just so edgy and so high end and so much thinner than I imagined her voice to actually be, that it was really kind of unfortunate that her highlight in the song, which is the hook and the chorus, and this I really want people to attach to, is just, it's been, truncated down to this really thin kind of irritating sound. So yeah, it's I imagine this to be, if you just give it some space, let it breathe, maybe take some of those really way too dominant effects off just a little bit. We don't have to have effects on every track, on every piece, on every instrument for a mix to really shine, or for it to even be contemporary and really feel like people will want to hear it. Some space, some life, some breath, some being able to hear the audio spectrum and being able to hear the depth of the EQ. That's not just whether the high end grabs you, but whether there's nice, lush mids and some deep kind of thundering bass in there too. You want all of that. You want a nice breathing mix. And this one, I don't know whether it happened in the mix stage or in the mastering stage, but it is just crushed to oblivion. So if you can fix that, go do it. And I would love to hear it after. I would love to hear it afterwards, because I think it's probably a really beautiful track.
All right, I appreciate it, Andrea. Thank you very much. The name of track number 3, it's called Drag You Down. It's by a group called Thought Crime, and we appreciate Thought Crime sending that track into Music Scene Investigation. If you're looking to get your music on the show, go to MusicSceneInvestigation.com and hit the Submit a Song button at the top of the page. It's very easy to do, and who knows, you could be our next Band of the Month or Artist of the Year if you make it by the panel on the Sunday show. And right now, our panel has a very tough decision to make. They have to decide what song is going through as our Song of the Week. So I'm going to turn it over to you guys and let you make a decision as I invite our audience to file their witness statements at MusicSceneInvestigation.com/witness. Anybody can start.
Okay, I'll jump in. There's 3 good songs here this week. And I think what they collectively lack, from my point of view, is parts of production and arrangement. So I'm going to go with number 1, because I think, out of all the 3, I can't go with number 3. Just that compression issue. For such a good track, it's a real shame. But I can't go with that. Number 2, great band, but need a lot of work on their production. Number 1, probably the most finished, best polished idea we've had this week. So I'm going with that.
All right. And as we have Andrea back, I'm going to ask her. She's got her video. There she goes. She's back with us now. All right. So Ian has gone with number 1. Leigh and Andrea, what are your thoughts?
Shall I say mine quickly? Because mine's a quick one. I think I'm going to surprise myself and go for number 1 as well, purely because it is probably the most finished sounding recording. That last one, I think, could turn out to be the best song, but I think number 1 gets it on the recording that we've listened to this evening. So I'm going for number 1.
All right. And Andrea, your thoughts and vote.
You said exactly what I was going to say. I wish I could pick 3. I think it's probably the better song.
Yeah, me too, yeah.
Produced recording, I can't tell. So I'm going to go with number 1. It's the closest to being ready to go out there and conquer the world. So, go number 1.
All right. Well, I apologize, first of all, for Andrea's audio, but her microphone has gone back on automatic, I think. I've got her turned up all the way
Let me
here.
fix that.
So anyway, our vote is unanimous. Our song of the week is from Explendidos, and it is sound and video. So congratulations going out to them. And we'll hear them on the next hit list coming up in July. Leigh, thank you very much for being here, my friend. It's always great to have you join us on the broadcast.
Oh, an absolute pleasure as always, and thanks for letting me talk about my new range of cheese and breadboards. We're really going to have to.
I'm really hoping we can get those up and get them someplace where we can get people, maybe QVC, the Home Shopping Network or something like that.
Oh, now you're talking.
I've got your slogan.
I bet you have.
Leigh's cheese and breadboards. The middle class put down.
Yeah, it might need a bit of work, might need a bit of production, but we'll see what we can do.
I think I've got one here for you. Here's a slogan.
Oh,
You don't cut the cheese on anything but Leigh's.
Yes, cheese. I think hey, he's good. That's now. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Too easy sometimes. It's too easy sometimes, isn't it?
It is. It works out wonderfully well. Anyway, we're going to close out today's broadcast. We're going to play sound and video by Explendidos one more time. As we say so long, please join us again next Sunday when we'll have 3 new songs on the broadcast. Thanks for being here, everybody.
To warn you, Nick Andrews in the studio with me.
Nick Andrew in studio with Ian. It's going to be a good time then as well. Certainly hope to see everybody here with us. Until then, we'll see you next time right here on MSI.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hurrah.
Ta-ra.